All right, we are headed into week 3 right now. Week 1 was really just that orientation, figuring out how does the hub work, and I'm hoping by now everyone does have their laptop or whatever piece of technology that the school provides for you, and you have that up and running. You can access the hub nicely, because I can see when everyone accesses, and now everybody is accessing the hub, which is good. And then last week we were doing the creative process, where you were exploring ideas about what makes you creative and how you get yourself in that creative zone. When you made the little face with all the little different things that represent you and your creativity within that face, and you were to submit that by Friday, right? Because I assigned it on Monday. You do the minds on Monday, Tuesday, action on Wednesday, consolidation part on Thursday, Friday. This week is going to be the exact same thing. You should always on Monday be tuning in for these little summaries. And this week we are talking about the elements of photography. So kind of what you are including within the frame. And I'm going to use this term a lot throughout the year. And even when you do your summaries, try to include this term, where I say limit visual clutter, which means there's things within the picture frame that you don't really want in there. It might have been a car passing by, or somebody just walking through your image, or literal garbage just on the ground in your picture. When I say limit visual clutter, it's things that would distract the viewer when they're looking at your pictures. What might their eye go directly to that really you didn't want them to look at? Right? And I'm going to show kind of this picture, which if you're a person that went through the intro and kind of the introduction page, you might have already seen this picture because it's on the hub, right? I'm on the hub right now. And this was a picture of me just walking in the winter with my dog. And one of the elements is line, where I took a picture with leading lines, right? This bridge that I'm walking across is a leading line to take your eye to myself and my dog. That was the intent of the picture. And I tried to limit any visual clutter. So for example, on the road, there's a road over here. I tried to capture the image when there was no cars on the road. So that, say there was like a fancy car or a transport truck over here, your eye might get diverted to the transport truck, taking away from what I wanted you to look at. Same thing, if you can look in the distance of the path, there's nobody on the actual path walking towards me. There's no other dogs, there's not a person on their bike, there's not a person walking. Because once again, your eyes would go up this leading line, and if there was a person on the path, your eye might actually focus on that person on the path, rather than your eye traveling to myself and my dog walking on the path. Okay, so when I use the term visual clutter and to try to limit visual clutter, that's what I'm referring to. Not having random items in your photograph that would distract the viewer's attention. You want your image, which is what makes it a photograph rather than say a snapshot, is your ability to control. It's a piece of artwork, right? Your artwork controls what people are looking at, okay? So that's what we're gonna focus on this week, right? So when I talk about the fact that the technology you're using, whether you're using a phone, an iPad, an old camera, a new camera, right? Making sure that you're including in the image what you actually want to have in the image is the paramount thing that we're gonna work on this week, right? And that's called the elements of photography. So there's gonna be a series of pictures you're gonna take one picture per element, and you're gonna upload that. So, elements for photography is line. So you're gonna go out and take a picture. Maybe it's down a long hallway. Maybe it's a picture of a road. Maybe it is a picture of a hallway in your house. Something with diminishing lines. Or it could be a string, right? Maybe, and I wish I had a string with me right now. If I was holding a string right up to that camera, your eye would follow the line directly to what you wanted to look at. That's a way of using line, because you're actually literally holding a string, right? I'll put up an example of a string representing a line, where your eye follows that path, okay? you're gonna take one of those pictures. It could be in your school, it could be at home, maybe you're taking it after school. All right, then the second one is gonna be shape and form, where you're going to look for almost like the outline, but it's the shape of something which is the most interesting part. Okay? As I scroll through my elements, right, because it's all that info is gonna be on the hub today and tomorrow, right, Monday, Tuesday, I want you watching my videos and I want you reading through the content. Please read through the content because it gives lots of good examples. Where you can see all the examples I give for line and a lot of other pictures. But then for shape and form, and you might be able to see it from where you are, but it's almost like the outline of a frog or the outline of a tree during a sunset. You can't actually see, or the silhouette, right? If you've ever taken a picture of a person in front of a window, sometimes you just get the silhouette of the person. You don't actually see them, you see their shape, you see the outline. Third one you're gonna take is space. And space is important where you are trying to, maybe you're positioning someone in a body of water, even though maybe it's gonna be a hallway. Let's do a hallway where it might be a more realistic example. Where a big emphasis and important part of the picture is the empty space around them, right? Once again, limiting visual clutter. The empty space adds to the image, okay? Next one is value. Value is kind of like in black and white where you can have things high contrast or low contrast, and the value of the colors within the image, right? How much tonal difference is there? Next one is texture. This is a fun one. I love texture is almost the one that I get excited the most to see what people did for texture. And this one you gotta kind of get close up, right? Because you're trying to capture the image of a texture, where some people take a picture of just a patch of grass, right? You can feel the texture of grass. Or turf, right? Maybe your football field at your school has turf and you're taking a picture of turf, because you can sense what that would feel like. Or maybe you have a handful of gravel, right? And you took a close-up picture of gravel because that has texture to it. You can imagine a close-up picture of a strawberry and all those little divots, or a golf ball, right? So you're gonna try to take an image that elicits texture, right? Maybe you have a pet and you're gonna take a close-up picture of their fur. That's what you're trying to convey. You're trying to convey literal texture through your image. And then the third one, also a fun one, is color. You're gonna try to take an image with as many bold colors as possible in it, right? And maybe even when you're doing editing on it a little bit, you could increase the word vibrance or increase the word saturation, which manipulate the color of an image, right? So if I took a picture and I took the vibrance and moved it up with the slider, right on your phone, if you moved up vibrance, it becomes more bold, right? If you move saturation, sometimes that's the one you gotta be careful of. I would recommend moving vibrance as opposed to saturation. Because when you move the saturation slider, that's when pictures kind of start to look a little fake and definitely edited because you oversaturated it, right? In the world, we have color, but it's not like it's oversaturation of color. Where vibrance is one that kind of doesn't make it look so edited. So focus on vibrance as opposed to saturation if you're kind of moving the slider on your phone to edit it. But try to find something with bold color. Okay, so on the hub, please make sure you are reading over the content, and I give lots of examples in reading, which is why I want you doing that Monday and Tuesday. And then when you get to Wednesday, I want you to go to the action part, right? Second part, and if you wanted to just jump to it, you could hit the action button. Takes you right to it, right? Just to give that demo again. If I'm at the very top, up in the top it says mine's on action and consolidation. If you just click the word action, jumps you right to that part. For here, there's a little bit of some videos that I want you to watch that kind of go into these a little bit deeper in terms just even past the beyond the reading that I provided, and provide even more examples. Because I'm gonna say, take your time with this week. This week, if you can get down, when you go to take an image, a picture, if you can be always thinking leading lines, texture, color, shape, form, space. If those things kind of naturally run through your mind automatically, your photography skills will infinitely get better. They will shoot up very fast because now you have those elements when you look at someone's photographs and you're like, wow, that's a really good photograph. These are the things they're putting into it immediately. It's not the type of camera that they used. It's not how old the technology is that they used. It's that they're able to put these elements of photography into their photographs. So take your time, really try to study these principles and the elements of photography. We're gonna go over principles of photography next week. The elements of photography this week. Take your time with it. Then when we get to Thursday and Friday, this is the consolidation part. You are capturing one image for each of those elements. You're gonna do, and you're gonna find an inspiration one on the internet, right? So if you go to the example at the very bottom, you'll see I found an inspiration picture, which was a picture of a hallway. And then I went out into the hallway and literally took a picture which kind of duplicated it, right? So I found an inspiration picture, I put that into the document. I went and took my own picture, put it into the document. Here's the key part. It's called the originality proof. So I'm gonna say in the instructions, you need to be including an originality proof. I took a very nice picture of a hallway. Then I'm gonna hold something up. I got a bobblehead, I got a Rubik's Cube, I have a keychain that says, let's go. You need to hold something up into the image and capture a second picture. Same hallway, right? That's how I know you just didn't take two pictures off the internet and you were like, this was my inspiration one, this was my original one, but both were off the internet. We don't want that. One's from the internet, my inspiration picture. I capture my own real image. I'm gonna hold up an inspiration picture, and this one just has to be quick. It doesn't have to be well cropped and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to edit it. You just go snap, same hallway, but this time your originality proof, which could be a bobblehead, will be in it. And I'm gonna recommend for your originality proof, I also get excited to see what people use as their originality proof, because I want you to use the same thing in every picture, which is why sometimes a keychain isn't bad, because you want to have it so that it'll be something you usually have with you. You don't want it to be maybe necessarily a Rubik's Cube, because you might not want to always carry around your Rubik's Cube to hold out into the picture as your originality proof, okay? Make sure you include that, because if you don't include the originality proof, I'm gonna write back, I'll be like, I need to see the originality proof so that I know you actually took the image, okay? So don't forget that. So when you go onto the hub looking at the page, you're gonna see the inspiration, you're gonna see the picture that I took, and then right below it, you're gonna see the same hallway with my little bobblehead character so that I know you took your picture. And then you're gonna upload all of those to the Dropbox, so the assignment folder, which says elements of photography, and you can have them there. How you organize this, I'm gonna give you some options. So I have attached a handout with kind of pre-made boxes that says inspiration, your photo, originality proof photo. So you put the 3 photos in those folders or inside the little box. If you want to use that template, you can totally use that template. If you're a person, once again, who's more comfortable uploading things to like a slideshow and you want to so you title it line, put your 3 pictures. Next one you title shape, put your 3 pictures. Next one you title space, put your 3 pictures, and so on. If you're more comfortable creating a slideshow and you just want to upload the slideshow, you can do that as well. It does not have to be in a Word file, but if you're more comfortable with a Word file, use it. Last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna give a brief description of how your picture meets that element, right? So say you were doing line. Some of you might do leading lines like a hallway, like a road. Maybe if I was just standing like out here, I'm looking at a fence, right? The leading line could be a fence line, or maybe it's a string going right to it, right? Even as I put my arm out, right? Here's a leading line. My arm is leading your eye directly to the screen. So when you look at this image right now, I'm gonna freeze it. Right, here's my thumbnail. You're gonna look at me and then instantly your eye is gonna follow my arm right to the screen. That's a leading line. So that's what you're focused on, trying to capture leading lines. My 3 monitors right here, right? Well, I got another monitor, I got 2 more monitors over there. But this computer screen to this monitor draws your eye into this section, right? You guys probably keep looking at this painting right here because I am framing this painting and so are these monitors taking your eye right to that spot. You probably have found during this video, your eye has gone to this spot countless times. That's a leading line. The structure of me, the space of me right here, and these computer screens on this curve takes your eye to that. That's an example of a leading line, right? And I'm gonna say, as I sit here like that, I don't mind those leading lines. These are leading lines, keeping you within this little framework between me and the computers and the monitor, whereas where I want your attention to go. Some of you might get a little distracted by the white that's reflecting off those cars, right? That could be a little distracting. That would be something, unfortunately I don't have blinds, I would pull the blind down to limit visual distractions, right? Okay, so take your time with this week. This is a big week in terms of learning the rules of photography, and if you can get this down, your photography throughout the whole semester is gonna start to get better and better, okay? So this is an exciting week. I love this week in terms of this is your first step to really start to not just hold a camera up and go click. It's, ooh, what's in the background? What is in the image which could distract my viewer, right? You're capturing artwork. You're creating a piece of artwork right now just based in, yep, it happens as soon as you push that button, that artwork is made. So it's a quick piece of artwork, but I want you to think about what goes inside it, all right? Have a good week, guys. I look forward to seeing all the leading lines that you create and the shape and form and space and color and texture pictures that you take this week. All right, guys, have a good week.